The long-awaited official report into Britain's involvement in the Iraq War has delivered a scathing verdict. 7 years in the making, the report is what its author John CHILCOT calls the story of an intervention that went badly wrong with consequences to this day. And the report of 2.5 million words highlights the shortcomings in the British government, jurisdiction and a justification for the invasion and also preparation for life in Iraq after President Saddam Hussein was ousted. Richard Bestic reports from London.
John CHILCOT's marathon inquiry is nothing if not exhaustive. What has surprised many in Britain, though, is the scathing nature of his conclusions. Former Prime Minister Tony Blair presented a case for war in 2003, he said, with a certainty not justified and based on flawed intelligence.
The UK chose to join the invasion of Iraq before the peaceful options for disarmament had been exhausted. Military action at that time was not a last resort.
Tony Blair had told the inquiry he could not have known the invasion would create space for the rise of terrorism. CHILCOT said the former Prime Minister had been given specific warnings.
Mr. Blair had been warned, however, that military action would increase the threat from Al-Qaeda to the UK and UK interests.
Claims the war was legal were far from satisfactory, according to CHILCOT. And while the risks of internal strife in Iraq were underestimated, Tony Blair overestimated his influence on US decisions.
The UK military role in Iraq ended a very long way from success.
Outside, as CHILCOT outlined his report, members of the Stop the War coalition read out the names of Iraqis and British citizens who had been killed in Iraq. Since the invasion, more than 150,000 Iraqis have died, according to CHILCOT, and 1 million displaced. British citizens have been killed. Tony Blair said he takes full responsibility for the Iraq war failings, but there was no deception in what he called the most agonising decision of his premiership.
As the report makes clear, there were no lies. Parliament and Cabinet were not misled. There was no secret commitment to war. Intelligence was not falsified, and the decision was made in good faith.
The breadth of this report's condemnation of the UK involvement in the invasion of Iraq will have a profound and lasting impact on British public life here. Richard Bestic, CCTV, London.